Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear and I'm here to build a model kit and a Lego set. And I'm also here to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the tier 2 blue emote in chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you feel like being a lurker, go ahead and lurk. Ghost Valve is here. Hello, Ghost Valve. Also, I want to give a shout out to Artistic Biologist who raided. Thank you for the raid. Rated just as I was starting this stream up. So welcome Raiders. If you're new here, hello. Hit the follow button if you'd like a model kit builder that also does some Lego stuff. Lord Crashington's here saying, hey Pat. Hey Lord Crashington, welcome, welcome. We're currently at, boom, 26 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up about it when I hit 40. Aristofan is here. Hello, Aristofan. When does the Apple promotion start? Is that tomorrow? There's an Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus thing starting tomorrow. Forget it. Yeah, the promotion is starting tomorrow. If you subscribe from tomorrow to the 19th of August, for anybody, you can get 3 months of Apple TV Plus. But that does not involve this at this moment. Lord Crash says, my watch streak is at 69 right now, which they don't let you celebrate. Rude, Lord Crashington. You think you could. Look, also, you know, at another time, maybe you could. Lord Crashington also hitting the dance button. If you're new here, channel points are kind of meaningless, but I allow for people to request that I do a little dance and we play a little music. It is not nice, Aristofan, you're right. Thank you for using your channel points. This song will refresh this week when we start August, but right now, here we go. Yeah. Bow, bow. Bow, bow. The drum fills in that I enjoy very much. It does have a drumline vibe to it, which I appreciate and enjoy. All right. So, yeah, the agenda for this evening. We have the Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode High Grade, which we're finishing up. We're body complete on the kit. We are going to work on the gun and the shield, and that kit will be done, and we can move on to the next thing. We also have a Lego set. It is Mr. Oz's space car from Lego Dreams. Lego Dreams started last year. I have done limited research on Lego Dreams, but it is on like a bunch of streaming platforms, services, paid or otherwise. And it is technically an isekai because it's kids that go to the dreamland, which is real. So when they fall asleep, they go to a different world and have adventures in that different world. And so technically Lego Dreams is an isekai. So we're going to build a Lego set from an isekai. And that has not happened yet. As far as I know, none of the Lego sets we've built before have been isekais. I'm trying to think. Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Ninjago, Marvel, DC. Yeah, I don't think any of those. Lego Friends, as far as I know, isn't an isekai. So I think all the sub-brands are not. Yeah, Aristofan, look, I bought this thing, which, you know what, I realized I didn't even add the image. We'll do this right now. You get to watch me do it live. I'm doing it live. Let me just do car here. Okay, we'll do that. I just was like looking at the Lego space because as folks may know, there was, for the anniversary of the space, they released a bunch of Lego sets across brands with the branding of space. And so this is a space car, and I just thought it looked neat, and I didn't know what Lego Dreams was, and it wasn't until I did some research that I realized, oh yeah, it's you can see the Lego space right there. Once I did the research, I was like, oh, okay. The show is an isekai. So we'll put that there, and then we'll pop this car below the sub goal and alert box. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. There. Okay. So that's where it's going to go. But right now we can minimize it even more. It's too big. Go like that. Yeah, there we go. But then we can put it away because we're not doing that yet. Yes. Indeed, space. And we've built a few things that were part of the anniversary of space. There were some Lego City space things, which is weird. As far as I know, Lego City is not an isekai. Lord Grashton says, I saw some AI video generator thing that was kind of neat, but it created the most Lego Nightmare City block I've ever seen. Yikes. And then Lashbrook, subscribe with Prime. So let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Thank Lashbrook for renewing using Prime. That's 80 months. That's so many fucking months. Thank you so much, Lashbrook. Appreciate that. And saying, I'll admit it, not that big a fan of War in the Pocket. Okay, well, I understand. I think War in the Pocket is pretty good. But I understand. Let's throw some notes in the chat. Thank you very much. We are now at 27 subscribers out of 40. The goal is to get to 40. We're at 27, which is a good amount. That's you know, we're on the road to 40. We only had one gift sub this month, which I'm not like fishing, because also if you want to be in the gift sub leaderboard, if that's one of the reasons we want to do it, you want to wait until our first stream of the month of August, I should say, which will be on the 1st. August 1st is a Thursday, so you could do that then. Let's start working on this. We're body complete here. We need to work on the gun. We'll use our last sticker for this. We will have, of course, some decals. Not always, but often they're decals in or decals, depending on where you are in the world, for the Lego that we will apply. So let's do that. Let's get what we need to get this thing a big gun, which will have, again, one sticker on it. So let's get that out there. My mother's birthday is this Friday, but we decided to celebrate tonight just because of scheduling and all of that. We went out to dinner tonight. We went to a lovely place, which is, it serves, okay, so it's a weird thing to say. It is a Mediterranean restaurant with a focus on Italian food, but not everything they serve is Italian. So it is not, I would not call it an Italian restaurant, but primarily they serve Mediterranean dishes with a hint towards Italy. How do I know, Pat? Why would you not classify it as an Italian restaurant? Because they don't serve cappuccino. They don't have a cappuccino machine. Any Italian restaurant worth its salt is going to have cappuccino, and that. So again, Mediterranean place, but very tasty food. I got the chicken marsala, which was fantastic. Feeling real good about that. But yeah, we went out to dinner, which was nice. And back in plenty of time. That is one of the benefits of going out to dinner with folks who are older, is the idea of a 5:30 reservation is the norm. So we were like happy to do that. We sat outside. It was cool enough to do that. Oops, I did miss a piece here that I was supposed to put in before this snapped together. So I do need to pop this apart. I got too excited about working on this kit to do that part. So let me try to wedge this open without breaking anything. We'll use this opening here to wedge it open. There we go. And we're able to then safely remove things. I use the spot that this piece is going in as my way to as my fulcrum spot. Wedge it open, and then we can put that there. But yeah, had a lovely evening with my folks out to dinner, and then back in time to watch another episode of Parry Everything, because there had been 2 episodes since I last talked about the show. So I wanted to catch both those because I'm going to do updates, because that is currently my plan for the second hour of every stream. The second hour of every stream, in case you're new, is me talking about the anime I'm watching. Often it would be 2 to 3 shows. Lately, since I guess the spring season, that has kind of changed to what is probably going to happen now, which is 1 show and either a manga or a recap of a show that I'm watching but not watching consistently, that I'm not doing a deep dive of. About halfway through Showman, which I've been covering and not really feeling, I decided, yeah, all right. I gave this show 3.5 episodes. It's not the same spark. I like the mangaka. The idea of him doing another high school based mystery show with characters, with young characters, was interesting to me. But none of the main characters are really doing it, really hitting that spark. So I decided to pass on it. And I'm gonna just, yeah. So basically, now I have My Dear Friend Nokotan, Oshinoko Season 2, and Dungeon People. Those are the 3 shows that I will be covering episode to episode. Even Oshinoko, I was like, I'm still not super feeling this season, but last episode really did spark my interest because it started focusing on a thing that you don't get in reincarnation or regression stories. This is it's a reincarnation story, which is analyzing trauma. There is a manga that I cannot remember. I wish I could, but I cannot remember it. But it was a mostly completely run-of-the-mill regression story. Our main character was on a cycle of violence and death, and whatever she did, she could not avoid it. And eventually, the time she basically just said, I am just going to accept this, her reality changed, and she was able to, or in her previous death, she basically unlocked the ability to gain access to her previous abilities that she gained, so she wasn't restarting from scratch. And that led her to go on a revenge tale. And it was violent, and again, I can't remember the name of it, so it didn't necessarily have that lasting impression on me, but one of the elements that I really liked about it was how earnest the character was about her own brokenness. She acknowledged and was aware of the fact that dying so many times and regressing to the point and trying her hardest to prevent her own death and having like fate decide, no, you're going to die again, broke her brain. And she was not going to, like, she was never going to escape that and live like a normal life, which is often overlooked in these regression tales that, like, yeah, no, this isn't going to go good. Like the idea of maybe I've been granted a second chance and I'm going to do things right. Maybe a character that deals with that will not give into their trauma, will have moments of catharsis, will be able to do the things they couldn't do the first time and right wrongs and like live a better life. But the idea of like, if you've died 6 or 7 times in a loop, like that fundamentally is, you're not okay. You're not going to be okay. So that was at least interesting. And I don't know. So like, I'm interested in the shows that are not necessarily afraid to explore that. You might be a Goku. Yeah. But well, of course, Goku is just reviving himself. He is just be given more chances. I'm talking about regression, which is I died and then I went back in time through something. And now I can like fix my mistakes, which is, again, not what Oshinoko is about. Oshinoko is about 2 people who died and were reincarnated as the children of either the woman that kept them alive because they were a sickly child and their love of this idol kept them focused and going, or the doctor that once treated that woman and through the child, the cancerous child, grew to appreciate idols. And it's a murder mystery. All right, I'm trying to get this hand locked in here so I can put the gun on the hand here, so I gotta do that. These are not always easy. Sometimes in fact, sometimes it's downright difficult to do this with just two hands. Do not have a third hand, despite rumors to the contrary. I don't have a third hand. All right, let's get this arm in first, and then we'll get the hand snapped in. This kit, I would not call this kit fragile, but it's not the sturdiest kit because of all the layers, the built-in weird layers, so that because it's destroy mode, it does mean that some parts don't really sit as well as they would for other kits. Because they're by nature at odd angles. There's another clip on the back here that I'm going to take off. So Lord Crash, in the like master grade or even some of the high grades, this is the destroy mode, so these would be like locked, and then you would be able to slide all these things and open all this up. Because this kit is just the destroy mode, they are open by default, but that does mean that all the parts here are a little odd. They come together a little weird, so this kit is not the sturdiest thing, and again, evidence there. This one back piece likes to just fucking fall off all the time, and the hand fell apart completely. And then the arm likes to pop off there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to style this kit with the gun, because this hand is not super sturdy. I could use a little liquid cement, because it's not like I'm going to pose this gun on the back of it. The gun does fit on the back. I can put it on the back there, but I don't plan on doing that. So I guess I can try to get this hand on with a little liquid cement. It's very loose for what you want out of it, which is, I guess, yes. Well, here's the thing, right? So it's a double-edged sword, right? It's loose so that you can pose it, but then because it's loose, you can't really pose it because it'll just kind of collapse. It's just, it is from an era, the early 2000 teens, there were some kits that just were not solid. They were not great. So I am applying some liquid cement. Again, this means this gun will have to be in a holster, in the hand, and will not work outside of it unless I want to break it apart, which I don't want to do. This is mainly just so that we can have the gun ready for posing. So I have applied a little bit of liquid cement here, and then I am going to apply a bit more. Just to keep everything together. If you're unfamiliar with liquid cement, it is just what you use for glue kits. It is not a glue. What it is doing, it is slightly melting plastic, and then you are pressing the two layers of plastic together to force it to kind of merge together. So it is not a glue, even though it is often called that, but you use it for quote-unquote glue kits. And it works well. You're just adhering the plastic together, basically. And then we can shove that in there. And that will harden, and it will mean this gun will not be able to use separately, which is fine, because we don't need that for our purposes, which is finishing the kit. Because this kit is not going to be on display anywhere. This is going to go into a box with other kits, and then that's the extent of it. A friend of mine who used to buy pre-built kits for various purposes on occasion still does buy kits from me, and that money goes back into me buying model kits. It has been a while because they have been using other hobbies, but they basically were buying kits that I did not particularly care about in order to kit bash or in order to do some painting techniques. They would get kits that they didn't even care about, for me, and then work on various like techniques and use them as practice for like airbrushing and various things. So they didn't damage kits they cared about. And that was a good deal. Even when they were like, I'd like to buy some kits, but I can't pay for shipping. Even when they couldn't pay for shipping, it would still end up being a very good deal because it was some amount of money. Because I, sometimes don't have a lot of it to spend on this particular thing. Let's see. So there was I walked by a lemonade stand today. Now, if you are an oldie like me, do not picture what you are thinking of. This was not a wooden structure. It was not a wooden structure. This was several coolers that were selling other things besides that, and a little inflatable sign that said lemonade stand. There were several children. This was at their grandparents' house, I'm led to believe. Several children and two adults sitting there under the shade. And I was walking, so I was like, what? So not like at the fair. No, this was like a lemonade stand, like driveway lemonade stand. So I was walking, and I was like, oh, huh. Now, when I go for a walk in the neighborhood, I don't bring my wallet because there's nowhere to go. When I walked in New York, I would always have my wallet with me because who knows? Maybe I'll stop by the store. Maybe I'll buy a bottle of water or a vitamin water or something, or I'll see something. There'll be a stand somewhere and I want to pick up some fruit or something, whatever. This neighborhood, this is the suburbs. There is nothing to see or do other than neighbors and whatever. So I didn't have money with me. They are also not expecting me probably to buy anything. They are expecting cars in the neighborhood to pull into the driveway or park on the street and come up and buy something. So I just kind of like walk by and give a little wave to one of the moms who will not make eye contact with me. And then I just keep going. Again, these are the grandparents. So this is, whatever. They're not on their own. These aren't teens trying to sell candy on the subway. Like, I am not particularly concerned about the fact that I don't have the ability to buy anything. Now you know that you may need your wallet for some unexpected capitalism. Yeah, I mean, I'm still probably not going to do it because I don't want to take my wallet with me when I'm going out for a walk. But so here's the thing. I know that the way I'm going is a dead end. So there's no way out of me walking back. Like, there's no route I can take where I don't have to walk back again. So the thing where I felt weird in that moment is going to continue again. Like, I am going to repeat feeling weird about this thing because I'm going to have to walk back again. And I'm like, fuck. And I'm going to, like, this time I'm going to be even closer to them. And like, if they yell anything, what am I supposed to say? Like, I guess I'll just say no thanks. I guess I could pretend not to hear them. I could look at my phone. You may know this about me, but I am sometimes an anxious person. I try not to be. I try to be fucking pretty goddamn chill about stuff, but I can get anxious, and social interactions on occasion do that to me. I was unprepared and it was not expecting a lemonade stand on a July day in a neighborhood that has some kids, but certainly not a lot of kids, and definitely not kids in that house, as far as I knew. So I was definitely surprised about it. So I'm going through my head, like, I'm like, I guess mostly I'm just going to like acknowledge they're there and not make it seem like there's any reason for me to go up there. And if pressed, I guess I'll say that, oh, I'll come back with some money, which I would not have done. Also, I should stress, I don't have much cash on me at any point in my life. I occasionally have a little cash on me, but not a lot. I don't carry a lot of cash because I do almost all of my stuff online, all of my payments online. I rarely pay for things with cash. I don't keep a lot of cash on me. So I would have had to go and look around and see do I have a couple dollars? I would have to dip into my tip money, I guess, delivery tip money, because I do have a little bit of that. I guess I would have to go into that. Anyway, so I come back. I need not have worried. It turns out in the 35, 40, 45 minutes it took for me to loop back, the kids were chasing each other around the yard and had pretty much, given up on the whole stand thing. There was still an adult there, and we both, we both acknowledged each other, and I just kept it moving. But it was funny because I was just like, oh, hey. and then just kept going. Um, but yeah, it turns out I was worried for nothing. No problems. Who cares? Also, uh, as I was leaving, someone was pulling up and getting out to, I guess, buy something. So there was a cover there, and it was fine. Um, but it did, for a moment or two, kind of fucking weird me out, where I was like, huh, what do I do in this situation? I was unprepared for that. Um, but again, that most of the time. So here's the thing with my walks. I walk in the afternoon when it is especially hot out. That is a scheduling thing. If I walked early in the morning, it would be cooler, but also there'd be way more people. There are rarely people out. There's people out and about, like, in their yards, but I don't like run into people on bikes. I don't run into other walkers. I don't run into people who are walking on the wrong side of the road, because there is a right and wrong side of the road. When you are walking, you walk against traffic. You bike with traffic. That's the fucking thing, because you want to see cars coming, and cars want you to see that they're coming. And every once in a while, I do run into some people who are just like walking the wrong fucking way and walking at me. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't be walking at me. You should be biking at me or driving towards me, and I can just get off the road. There's no sidewalks in this neighborhood. But anyway, I exercise at a time where I occasionally run into dog walkers and maybe somebody walking, but most of the time it's just me, and then neighbors are in their yard doing their thing or their thing, depending. And also, that is generally when my male carrier is doing her route. Street hockey, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. So this neighborhood used to be people's last homes, final homes, right? The downsizing home. It's not a retirement community. My parents are retired, but there were a lot of people of, like, my parents' generation. This is where they went. This is like where it ended up for them. And then maybe after that is assisted living, right? This is the downsized house. It has become, over the past several years, especially the economy, various issues with that. Also, this neighborhood is now people's first homes. This is a place where now you have people with young families or just starting out. This is the house they're getting first, to then build equity, to then sell it, to then move into a larger house when the situation demands it. So there are children in this neighborhood. But when I first came down here, there weren't as many. When my parents moved here, like 10 years ago, definitely was like almost no children at all. And there are a couple renters. It's not a renting neighborhood. There's an HOA. I think they don't like the idea of that. They definitely don't want more people to do it, but some people are renting. I know there's a house that has a few people there that are renting it out together, that are close to my age. But really, in this neighborhood, anyone close to my own age are people with families that are just starting out, that are also probably 10 to 15 years younger, at least, if not. Yeah, there's a couple that's 20 years younger than me, but that's way closer than 30 years older than me, which is a lot of the residents of this neighborhood. So, it's a mixed thing, but it's not as much mixed of a neighborhood as one might guess. It does mean that almost no one comes to the door to trick or treat, because there are no teenagers in this neighborhood, right? Teenagers would still remember going door to door, but children, young children, don't have that because they don't do it. They go to their school on Halloween, and a bunch of parents park their cars, and then you just walk from car to car collecting candy, and then you go home. Is that every neighborhood in America? No. But that is a lot of neighborhoods in America. That is the tradition now. That is how people do it. And again, is that everyone? No. But in this area, we buy candy and no one comes. Because, again, there are no teenagers who would still want to do it because they remember doing that. We don't have that experience anymore. We might, like, they might grow up into wanting to do it. There might be kids that move here. There might be, teens that come visit their grandparents and want to go trick-or-treating or whatever. But like, older kids don't have that experience or older kids may have the experience of going door to door, but they're not around, and the younger kids don't have that at all. They're doing the kind of like circle of cars variation, which in one way is safer and probably smarter and probably better to do it that way. It's certainly faster and easier to, like, you get to see everybody's faces, and it means that if you don't have kids, you don't have to fucking worry about Halloween if you don't want to, and you don't have to feel bad about like turning your lights off really early so no one comes. It trains them for tailgating, says Aristofan. Yeah, sure. But if, like me, you get satisfaction from putting candy into a bag and making eye contact with a kid and saying, "Here you go, name of character that you recognize." I miss that. I don't like not being able to do that. I enjoyed being like, "Here you go, Spider-Man." Like, I like being like, okay, what cartoons do I not know about? What Disney things have come out since last Halloween that I've been paying attention to? All right, what are the characters in Inside Out 2 that I should be aware of? Like, what emotion should I be naming this kid? Or like, is this a generic pirate, or is this like a Pirates of the Caribbean character? I don't know, so I'll just say, here's some candy. And I'll just play it off because I don't know what this is right now. But okay, here we go. All right, this is a meme. This is a YouTube thing that I don't know about. Okay, sure. I have seen this 10 times. Is this kid a fucking hobo? Why did their parents dress him up like a goddamn hobo? Did they forget it was Halloween? What's going on right now? That kind of thing. I miss all of that. That's fun for me. I like that shit. I enjoy it. I do miss that about Halloween in this particular area. But I can understand why it doesn't happen like it used to. Because, there's something to be said for going out. But also, I don't know. I never had my candy stolen. I never ran into trouble. But I certainly did have friends that would get stuff snagged. They would run into big teens who would take their stuff. But again, that was not my experience, but I definitely know people who did experience that. And I wouldn't want that for the kids, the kiddos. Yeah, this arm just likes to fall out. That is frustrating. Let's get this shield snapped on. This shield snaps on right here. There we go. This kit did not come with beam sabers. It does have the attachments, but it doesn't come with the actual sabers, probably because all of the various clear parts, it did not include sabers. But you, of course, could use any saber that would fit there. Any of the square saber ones would fit on these. Which is also funny because it does come with 4 beam sabers total, you'd think, or beam saber holders, because it's got the 2 on the back, and then it's got the ones that pop in on the side, which are cool. All right, let's try to get this arm in just for photography, because we are body complete on this kit. So we do want to get a photo of it done, and then we can move on to Lego. Again, this back piece likes to pop off. I'm trying to get it on here so it'll stay on. Then I can then take a photo. Just does not want to stay on. Yeah, does not want to stay on. Doesn't have to, but I don't want it to pop off. Let's get this gun on here. And then, as far as unicorns go, this is the best unicorn I have built because none of these parts slide. So you have to build a bunch of layers. It did take a while to put together because it is odd, because it is building them pre-slid. It's the destroy mode, as said. So it is an odd kit to put together, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy my time with this kit. I would recommend it. While I think like the Banshee Norn or another unicorn might be a better kit overall, this was at least a enjoyable experience. And you know, that's nice. It's nice to have that. So I'll take a photo of it and we will close the book on this particular kit. So here we go. And that's what? There we go. Photo taken. We can continue going here. But yeah, I'll put this aside. And that will do it on the unicorn. So then we will go and we will take out, put this up there. So now we're going to move on and we are going to start the Lego Dreams Mr. Oz's space car. It's got its Dream with one capital Z and two lowercase z's. Here's the Dream car. It is 3 bags. There are people that we're going to build here. I don't know any of these people. I don't know what's going on. Will it tell me who these people are? No. 300 pieces, Mr. Oz's space car. I assume this is Mr. Oz. And I don't know who anybody else is. That's a brain. That's a monster with a brain in a jar, so that's fun. I like that. Yeah, it's Dreams. Watch series online. You can watch it online. One big booklet, which is nice instead of several smaller booklets. But we're going to build... this kid has braces. Got maybe a night retainer. I think maybe a night retainer. Not sure. Again, I don't know who any of these things are. Lots of good illustrations. That's why this book is this thick, I guess. But it also seems to be telling the story of what's happening in the scene. Is that Mr. Oz, not Dr. Oz. I hope I don't say that again. Mr. Oz is like, oh no, that kid has been kidnapped. Time to use my space car to save the day, I guess. Got to save the day with my space car. So yeah, we'll build the space car. It's got guns. Okay, hell yeah. Hell yeah, it's got guns. Cool. But yeah, so what do we do here? Well, we've got some decals or decals, and we'll use a spudger to apply those. We've got our handy dandy tool here, our brick separator to remove bricks in case we mess up, and we have, of course, bag number 1. We'll go in order. We'll do bag 1 and then bag, 2 and then bag 3. So we'll do it in order. In order to get started here, we do need to do a little bit of organizing. I won't do a full null, but I will do a partial null by color. As always, you start by opening up the bag and making sure you took all the parts out of the bag, because you do not want to worry about having to dig around to find a missing piece. I will keep one bag for spares. One of the reasons why I don't open up all 3 bags and do all the knolling at once is because when you end, you'll have a couple extras, but you don't want to have to borrow from the future, which happens sometimes accidentally, because like there was a 2x1 that was brown, but you pulled the black one and used that, or like you mistook color. So I don't want to do that. I want to keep a little bag here to put my extras in if necessary. And then we'll get our people together. When we have to do that, I'm just going to put these all here. And then we're also going to be building the brain of the jar monster as well. We'll come to that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, so I'm just going to separate here by color. Nice and easy to do. I might open up bag 2 and 3 for Thursday's stream at the same time, but right now I'm just going to treat one bag at a time and then just kind of pick a spot for my instructions, pick a spot for the various colors that I'm building from here. When I have the time, when I'm doing several bags at once, I will do stuff like this, where I am kind of doing the null, but also organizing it so it takes up less space and it's easier to find things. So that way it's not just a pile, it's like a bunch of organized things. But I won't fully do that here. But I'll do a little bit of it because it does make my life easier. It's easier to find things if you can. So it's not just a huge pile. Some people like to do the hunt and peck method. They just like throw a bunch of stuff out there and then dig around. They just put a bunch of Lego in a bowl and see, what's there and find it later. And I am not cool with that. I do not like to hunt and peck. I could just build out of this here, but I like to be at least somewhat organized so I can be like, orange. Okay, well, here's all the orange I have. So it's one of these pieces. That is how I like to operate when it comes to Lego. Let's see. Let me go check some news stuff here. Is there any news that we can talk about here? Sometimes there's some Monday stuff. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Xbox 360 store seems to be fully gone. I know that they were having trouble this weekend with people who were like, "Ah, shit, I waited too long, and now the sales that are supposed to be there, I can't get to work or I can't get the store to load." It seems like a lot of people waited till the last minute, which makes sense. Because why wouldn't you wait till the last minute? Because you were like, hemming and hawing and all that. But yes, almost 20 years to the launch. Digital storefront, which again launched in 2005, so 19 years, is now closed. You no longer buy new games or DLC or movies or anything on the on the Xbox 360. There weren't as many sales as I would have liked. Yeah, I mean, so a lot of that is they're available somewhere else, or Microsoft doesn't have the ability to put certain things on sale without permission from a publisher, and some of those publishers don't exist anymore or didn't care. But mostly it was just like yeah, this is just like, okay, most companies moved on and the permissions needed for sales of that nature weren't going to happen because they weren't there to nobody cared. It just seemed like it was a matter of not enough people that needed to care about a thing cared about the thing in order to make it work, which is fairly in line with how these things operate in general. Usually the biggest hullabaloo is losing access to things you paid for, right? The PlayStation thing where some licenses ended and things you bought on, if you bought TV shows on Discovery, suddenly you did not have access to those things anymore, despite paying, a licensing fee to have it. You suddenly did not get that thing. That was the thing that got people's ire up for good reason. Because it's like, what? Wait, what? But this was just like, okay, well, there were things that were for sale on the store that there were a handful of things that you can't find in its original version. You can only find it on collections, or it was not available other places. That was not that many things, but it was some amount, and any amount of things that are no longer easily accessible is frustrating for sure. So I'm not trying to say it isn't, but yeah. See. Anything from this feature? No, I was looking for something up there. I was looking for some sort of information within this news source, but mostly this news source story was just like, yeah, it's gone. Let's see. Anything else to talk about here? a actor of some note, Tony Pankhurst, has passed away. You may know Tony Pankhurst best as his face being the model for in the Dark Pictures franchise for Supermassive Games. He was the likeness for the Curator, so you may know him as that, which was the narrator that shows up in a bunch of those games and kind of talks to you about your choices on occasion. All right, so we do have the braces face here, or the retainer face. So we'll put that on this one, and then the black mop of hair and the pajamas. So this is somebody who fell asleep and entered the world of dreams, I guess. And then we will build the thing that is kidnapping it. Well, so we'll get that. Black. He's here. And I do like this eye. This is a cool little piece. There are some pieces in this set that, like, if you are someone that likes to free build with Lego, there's some cool shit in here. Yeah, the Supermassive donated some money towards hospice because the family was asking for that. Hospice in the Weld, which is a charity organization. But apparently Tony was a UK actor and was not like super well known, for a lot of roles, but was certainly recognized for as the face of the Curator. And again, it's a bit Mondays sometimes, bit of a slow news, because a lot of it is just like, hey, here's the wrap up of Comic-Con. Here's everything that was said and done at Comic-Con. That's what a lot of the news stuff I was going through is Comic-Con related, which is fine. That is, again, much of what I have that I'm just kind of looking through here. Oof. I don't know. I'm looking up this title here. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has started to unkill the Justice League. I am sure this is news that makes some people very mad, but I am not one of those people, because it's just like, whatever, just do make your choices. Am I going to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? No, I'm not going to play that game. It didn't look interesting to me. Didn't look like something I want to check out. Hey, there's a healer in Marvel. Again, I have not gotten into the beta, but I do have a friend that was in the beta for Marvel Rivals. There's a healer in Marvel Rivals, a healing character that is a land shark that kind of swims on the ground, and it's cute as fuck. It basically like beaches itself, slashes itself to reload, and it's adorable. And I don't know the continuity. I don't know what this land shark is from, but it's kind of a doggo, and it seems great. And so I was like, well, I'm going to I want to know more about this thing. All right. So we have built most of this. Now all we have left to put on here is the tentacles. Bag one seems to be all the minifigs, and then a few, and then we're going to get started on the car. But at the very least, we got to build this nightmarish creature. We got to get our Cthulhu type thing going here. One more of these. Here, there it is. Okay, great. But yeah, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Should go and actually look at this article here. 2 seasons into Kill the Justice League, post-launch plans, players are tasked with undoing some of the deaths. Mrs. Freeze got introduced. Uh, getting the Justice League back together. Oh, she is from an alternate reality metropolis. But they're going to get the Flash. And they go to another... Basically, it's going to other places and getting other versions of characters. So it's not really bringing them back. It's going to other worlds or whatever. But I feel like... I don't know. I feel like if you're still playing that game, you're down for whatever they're going to give you because you like that game, or it's the game your friends have decided you want, that's the game you play and all that. So I'm not trying to come down on people that picked that game and settled on that game, but I do feel like if you are still invested in Kill the Justice League, then you are down for whatever, or you fucking hate every goddamn choice that's been made and you will never be happy. And therefore, it does not matter what they do because you are always going to be mad. Mr. Oz has got an interesting bit of gear here. I want to say this is... I mean, look, this is an hourglass. Is Mr. Oz a time traveler? Mr. Oz seems to be some sort of time traveler. He does have a monocle and some sort of special suit. Am I saying? Oh, yes. And then also the same symbol is on his gun, thus making me think this is a time gun of some sort. So again, I don't fucking know who Mr. Oz is, but Lashbrook, I don't believe so. This seems to be a good guy, I think. I think Mr. Oz is supposed to be here to help this kid that's being kidnapped by this thing. But I don't know. I'm reading not a bad guy vibes. He is even though it's just the mustache over the beard, he does seem to be smiling, so I don't know. I do like his outfit. Cool. This is a cool minifig. Sometimes this means I get some cool minifigs sometimes in these build streams. All right. Let's see. Any wrestling news talk about here? Seems to be a bit of a slow news day. Professional wrestler Dalton Castle is apparently out for the rest of the year with torn biceps. That is the status. Unfortunately, it seems to be he'll be out for the rest of 2024, which is a real shame because Dalton Castle rules. There was a scary moment in his last match where they thought he might have a concussion because a knee to the head ended up actually connecting and not just looking like it did. And apparently, they were following concussion protocols. They were finally like, you should probably get surgery for your other injuries that you've been working through. And he was like, fine, I guess I'll do that. So hopefully it's not a long process because Dalton rules. And he's a good person. From personal experience, I can tell you that Dalton Castle, good egg. Good egg, good dude. So hopefully speedy recovery to one Dalton Castle. Let's see. MVP, former professional wrestler turned manager and writer, who has not retired but was slowed down. He's apparently not re-signing with WWE and made his presence felt at Bloodsport 11, which is a wrestling show put on by Josh Barnett in association with GCW. That on WrestleMania weekend, WWE wrestlers were on the card as well as AEW wrestlers and people from other promotions. This past last night, there were wrestlers from various promotions, including Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and some WWE people. Miyu Yamashita, who is probably going to be going to NXT. One could imagine at some point. Um, Fought Shayna Baszler, and that's fucking wild. That's just weird shit. It's so weird that people under contract with WWE fight anywhere. There's been a guy went to All Japan for a match. AJ Styles just wrestled at Pro Wrestling Noah. Um, last year, also in Pro Wrestling Noah, or 2 years ago, we had Shinsuke Nakamura wrestle. It's just weird. Uh, May Satomura, who is under contract with WWE, but is planning her retirement. Looks like her contract is up in September because she will be wrestling at her home promotion, which she has been able to continue to produce and run. Senkai Girls, or Senjo, which is still weird. She made an appearance at a DDT show. She didn't wrestle there, but she made an appearance pretty recently. It's just like, it's weird times. It's weird fucking times with a lot of wrestlers. Of course, Io Sky performed at Marigold this year, which is wild and weird to see. All this stuff, very strange. But yeah, MVP showed up, said like, yeah, I'm leaving my former job and I want to fight you, Josh Barnett. Yeah. And Josh Barnett was like, yeah, you can come by yourself or come with a group, which is hinting that perhaps Bobby Lashley, who is also supposedly not going to renew his contract, kind of speculated, well, what if Bobby showed up as well? Because there are, of course, conversations that they might try to reform the group under a different name, the Hurt Business, which would be interesting. Be an interesting thing for them to do. Who knows? Shelton Benjamin is also on the independent scene as well. Everybody from the Hurt Business, except Cedric Alexander, is either already a freelancer or is looking to leave WWE, apparently. That's just wild. And let's see. That whole show was kind of cool. Like I said, it's just a weird thing where you have like different wrestlers from different promotions on there. Just strange. Okay. Also, I just want to say, and this is a weird thing. Um, Sammy Guevara is going to be on next week's Ring of Honor. And that's weird. That's a weird spot. This is a dude that is like one of the young bright stars of the company who's had ups and downs for sure, but for him to like come back in Ring of Honor is a strange place to put him. I was very surprised to read that he had showed up at the taping as a baby face. I was like, oh, we're doing this again. All right, fine, but yeah, very strange. Sammy has been off television because he was suspended for not not understanding. He basically did a move that knocked Jeff Hardy out. They were called. They were told. Both were instructed to just go to the finish. He took that to mean let me do my finisher, not let me roll him up and just get a victory, because he did not understand the severity of the injury to Jeff Hardy. So he was basically suspended. He's had issues in the company in the past, not listening to people and such. And so who knows, but it was surprising to hear that he was going to show up on Ring of Honor of all places. I just assumed naturally that he would get involved in the learning tree, Chris Jericho's terrible stable of nonsense, but I guess not. I guess not yet. Maybe he will, but who knows? Maybe he was just like, hey, I want to get reps in. Like, you said I'm not suspended, but you don't have anything for me. What about Ring of Honor? Like, I don't know. Maybe it was his idea, and they were like, yeah, sure. We can go hang out in Ring of Honor. Cool. Whatever. I don't know. Let's see. Any other wrestling news I want to chat about? Nope, I think we're good here. All right. Let's put this here. Okay, there we go. Cool. We're just building a Lego car, everybody. Don't worry about it. Just building a Lego car. Nothing weird about that. Everything's going just great, actually, honestly. And then, of course, if I did fuck something up, I can fix it. It's not too hard to fix it because it's Lego. This is not a model kit, so screwing up can be prevented. Or not even prevented. It can be fixed pretty easily. That's why I got the brick separator. I don't have to use I don't have to get any tricky. I don't have to use my teeth or a butter knife like I used to when I was a child, or even a wedge, like I'll use this, but I'll use this to apply stickers because it's nice to have that. You could apply a decal or decal with the brick separator if you wanted to, but we're good. We don't have to worry about that. I know some people use this. They turn it over and they use this to like peel off and to reapply a decal if necessary. But I think we're okay. I'm not worried about that. All right, we're gonna take a pause to the cause here. Talk about ways you can support the channel. Get into all that stuff, all that jazz here. And then we'll get back to model kit building and in this case, Lego building. Hi. If you're new here, hit the follow button so you know when I go live. I stream on Mondays, Tuesdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Monday, Thursday, Saturday is model kit or Lego building. Tuesday is something else. Tomorrow is WWE 2K24. We're finally looking at last month's DLC. Last week I wanted to, but there was a big update that took all day because WWE 2K24 updates are just re-downloading the whole fucking game, including all future DLC that's not unlocked. They were prepping for Wednesday's update of the next DLC pack, which is Pat McAfee and Friends. I don't give a shit about that. But I am kind of interested in how they do, a guy who is not a professional wrestler, who is just a musician and has never wrestled for WWE in any capacity, Post Malone. So I was like, I kind of want to see Post Malone and Friends. We're doing that tomorrow, running some CPU versus CPU matches. That's tomorrow. So Tuesday is gaming or conversation, or we did tier maker once. Yeah, it's just like fun stuff. If you are currently a subscriber to the Build Bear Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support me. You could do it with cash money, or you could be like Lashbrook and use your Prime Gaming token. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support me because you're already here and you're already probably subscribing to somebody. So you could do that if you would like. Obviously, it's optional. All the stuff I'm talking about here is optional, just various ways to support what I do here. You could gift a sub. You could be like John and join the gift sub leaderboard if you wanted to. You could also be like Harold and cheer if you want to join the cheer leading board. For the next couple days, you can be the tops of those if you wanted to. That's all the ways to support me via Twitch, but that's not the only ways to support me because there are other, like joining my Patreon. There is rolling admission in Patreon, so if you join today, you don't have to rejoin or repay again on Thursday. You'll just be charged at the end of the month next month. Patreon, there's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. My $10 patrons voted that they wanted me to build this Mr. Oz's space car from Lego Dreams. Out of 3 options I gave them, 2 of which were model kits, and 1 was this Lego set. They wanted the Lego set, and good on them. But yeah, there are various rewards at the different tiers on my Patreon. Consider joining it if you wanted to. I have a YouTube channel at youtube.com/PatBear. Obviously, subscribing to YouTube is free, so you can jump on there if you wanted to. Becoming a member costs $2 a month, and for your $2 a month, you get my Wednesday videos a day early. So if you join tomorrow, you will find out what one of my favorite shows from the spring season is, because that's the video series that I'm doing on Wednesdays, Kuma Baer. So you'll be able to find out what the fifth and final show that I really loved from the last season was, because that was the gimmick this month, was that. Everything those are monthly ways to support me. Those are monthly ways. But there's also like a tip jar. You could just do my Ko-Fi, or you could do directly to my PayPal if you want to do that. A one-time donation, like a tip. Everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And out of that fund, I pull money out to buy things like the Lego Dreams Mr. Oz's space car, as well as I think like a couple other Lego sets and like 5 other model kits that I have in my backlog. And I can't wait to build stuff from the backlog. I pick things that I'm interested in, or at least I think would be fun for y'all to check out. So I'm excited to build those things. Now, if you want to decide what I build next, and you're like, no, Pat, don't build any of the things in your backlog. I know exactly what you should do. Well, you could do that. You could go to my Amazon wish list and buy something from there, and it would jump the queue. It'd be the next thing that I build. I make a dedicated YouTube video about the thing that you purchased for my mailbag series. And yeah, it would become the next thing that I build, because if you're buying it, I should build it sooner. I have model kits and Lego sets, inexpensive kits, expensive kits, like one-day builds all the way to builds that will take me, a week and a half to 2 weeks to build. Old kits, new kits, all kinds of different things and things. See if there's something there you'd like to see me build in the future, because I will be happy to pick it up. Recently added in a very old high grade from Gundam X that I thought would be fun. I built the double X, but I haven't built the high grade of just the X on stream. I built the master grade of it, but not the high grade of it. So I put that recently on the list. There's a bunch of stuff. Stuff from the recent Gundam Seed Destiny Forever movie. All kinds of things and things. And some gear at the bottom, because it's nice having gear as an option. So if you see something there that you're like, oh, I would love for Pat to put that together, you could buy it, and then it'll come to me in the mail, and I'll build it before I build other things. Obviously all this stuff, no pressure, but if you wanted to, you could. My alternative to Amazon is my Throne wish list. They are a wish list provider. People, they keep names and addresses and general location very secure. So a lot of people who maybe they're VTubers, they don't want information about themselves to be out there, or maybe they work in adult fields, and not every wish list provider is interested in helping them out. Throne is cool with all that stuff, and that's pretty neat. And then the most convoluted way to support me financially, if you really want to help me out in a way that would take many steps, you could go to USA Gundam Store. At USA Gundam Store, you could buy a gift card there. Then they will send you an email with the gift card code, and then you can send me a whisper here on Twitch, or a DM on Twitter, or a DM on Twitter, or Blue Sky or Mastodon. You can send me a private message on one of those with that gift card code, and then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. And you can even have input. You could be like, oh, hey, I saw they have these on sale. You should buy one of these kits. You could do that if you wanted to. Obviously, don't worry about it if you don't. Those are all the ways to support me that cost money. If you want to support me and not spend any money, you can jump into my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. The Discord is nice. We would love to have you there. If you wanted to be there, you could be there. A couple video links for you to check out, and then we'll get back to building. Pat Baer's Anime Club. I talked about my favorite shows from the first half of the year. I listed 10 shows in alphabetical order that I all thought were pretty strong so far. And then at the end of the year, I'll be able to compare and go, oh, well, yeah, that was on the list. Or, oh, turns out I didn't even include that, and it was so good. Yeah, Frieren is still the best show of 2024. Sorry, other anime, or whatever. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. The most recent episode was one of my favorite shows in the spring season. which was Bartender, Glass of God. If you haven't seen that show, it is a love letter to the art of bartending. As someone that does not drink, I still can respect the love and craft put into a show about a subject like that. It's a really engaging series, and I really liked it. So if you missed that video, check that out. That episode of Kuma Baer. I'm actually going to see, how did that do? Because it was not doing great. But it's okay, because they don't have to do great. The most important thing is, like, do I want people to see the videos that I make? Of course I do. But am I also making it because it's something that I'm interested in? Yes. If it's something that I'm interested in, then I want people to see it when they can. Oh, that's so weird. I have a video that is technically still processing the HD version of it. That has been uploading since yesterday. I think it might be FUBAR, and I'll have to re-upload it. Let's see. Yeah, not a lot of people watched my Bartender Glass of God upload. It is now one of my worst uploads for shorts, which is okay. Again, a bunch of people watch it on Instagram, which is fun. Sounds like it'll error out at some point. Yeah, Lord Crash, and I'll probably have to re-upload it. Luckily, that video I uploaded, which again, the HD version just didn't happen. It's still technically processing. That video is viewable, and it is my monthly Q&A video, so it's not like a lot of people watch it anyway, but it is odd to see it there. It's probably actually uploaded. It's just airing out for me. Who knows? It's not an exact science. It kind of probably should be, but it isn't. Anyway, speaking of anime, I'm going to talk about some anime. We'll do a deep dive into an episode, and then we'll do like a catch up on a couple other ones. We'll get into that now. Before we do that, though, we're going to dramatically transition back to the overhead camera, and I'm going to drink some water, and we're going to do that right now. All right. I don't drink enough water on my model kit building streams, which is why I built in a time to do it. But I should be drinking water throughout. I have been good this particular year, more so than most years, about consistently drinking water. I'm at like 3 to 4 glasses a day, which is not necessarily a lot, but for me is a good amount. Let's see. Sorry, I want just real quick. Okay, yeah, there's nothing there. All right. Just want to make sure I wasn't messing anything up. There's just a gap in the parts there, and I think that's okay. Yeah, but there's a gap. Okay. All right. As I continue with this, water is good from what I've heard. Yeah, I mean, it's just like I'm trying to drink more of it as I get older, especially. And I'm trying to drink less soda and drink more water, and that's so far working out pretty all right. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's talk about some anime while I build. Oops, that's the wrong one. Sorry, everybody. I didn't update this. I do this by hand as a Nightbot command, and apparently I did not update that Nightbot command, so hold on. Let's update the anime. Yeah, I did not update that. That's on me. Shoulda, but didn't. So we'll talk about my dear friend Nokotan, and we'll talk about I Parry Everything. We'll talk about episode 3 and 4, just kind of a brief overview of those. But we'll go kind of in detail about my dear friend Nokotan, which is available on Crunchyroll. This show is about the Deer Club, which is run by the student council president, and who used to be, but who goes by the name of Koshi, who used to be a delinquent and is hiding that. It is Koshi, and some other characters like her sister and like another weird girl, And also Nokotan, who is Nokotan a deer? Probably. Is she a girl? Also, yes. Is she a deer girl? Probably. It probably also doesn't matter. So at the end of the third episode, there were three girls in shadow watching them, and we didn't know who they were. And I assumed that they were a rival club or something. They're not a rival club. They are the other primary important members of the student council. Koshi is there to make the school kind of like a better place. That is at least her goal out there, is to try to improve the school. But according to the narrator, there's a student council member who is there to destroy the Deer Club because she doesn't like Koshi. And that's Neko. And Neko is the student council vice president. She is constantly, seemingly trying to undermine Koshi because she doesn't like Koshi and she doesn't like the Deer Club. So she is trying to mess with the Deer Club, it seems like. Because she wants to become more popular than Koshi, who is apparently incredibly popular. And she doesn't understand, like, why Koshi's so popular. She also doesn't understand, like, what the fuck is the deal with the Deer Club? Why are people psyched about this? But she has a bunch of plans. She's going to take care of it. Kinu, who is the school secretary, comes in, and she seems to be bad at being in the student council and kind of a fuck up, but we don't know if Kuni is being deceitful or not, but she seems bad at the job. And then also there is, so that's the secretary. There's also the like treasurer, like the accounting lead, Chiharu, who does not seem to want to talk to Koshi. She seems to be very quiet and maybe reserved. We're not quite sure what her deal is, but now we've met the other members of the student council. We do get a point where Chiharu asks about the Deer Club, and Koshi's like, "Oh no, I don't want her to like be mad about it." I don't know. We learned in this episode that Koshi, who really all we knew about her is that she is kind of the, for lack of a better term, the straight man in this show. She is the person who is commenting on the weird and kind of getting in with the weird, but also a little weird herself. We find out that, well, one of the reasons that she is pretending to be as cool as she is, or as trustworthy and all that, and putting her delinquent side behind her, is she's desperate for people to like her. She is very gung-ho about getting people to like her to a fault, really. So that's what's kind of leading a lot of this. She also doesn't want people to know what she did. Let's see. Koshi's in the Deer Club. And Chiharu shows up. So Koshi's like, "Hey, Nokotan, just fucking be cool. Can you just like play it cool and be low key for once?" And then Basame and Anko, who are the other members of the club, show up, and they are of course immediately weird because that is who they are. They're just acting a fool. Koshi tries to tell Chiharu about the club. So then Nokotan just like interrupts to show Chiharu a clip of the dance that Koshi did in episode 3 to the random deer. And then they just start talking about Koshi and are really kind of just talking about like anything bad about her. So she kicks them all out. And then she's like, I just did that for a goof, just because I thought it would be fun. And Nokotan's like, that makes me sad. Also, Sonoda would be sad. Apparently, that actual real deer from episode 3 is named Sonoda. And so then Nokotan just dumps a bunch of deer crackers on Chiharu's head, which Chiharu is fucking psyched about. Apparently, this was like in retaliation, but turns out Chiharu is, we found out later, really into Nokotan. Really likes Nokotan and wants to spend more time with her. So when she's given some grass as a gift, she's psyched about it. Koshi is immediately jealous, which we haven't really seen for before because she wants Chiharu to be into her, but she's not. And let's see. Koshi wants to help Kunai out. And there's a whole scene where they are trapped in a storage room, which is very anime. And them interacting together, and we learn a little bit more, well, the tiniest about Kunai. There is the best gag in the whole fucking episode is Koshi looks through the window and sees Nokotan and tries to get Nokotan's attention, but Nokotan is dreaming about the best, like, cracker and has, like, a musical montage dream about the best deer cracker ever, and then she just leaves, and that's it. That's just the scene, and it's great. Kunai apparently kind of opens up about how she made a terrible mistake in the past. And then Nokotan opens up the gym storage room because she's apparently been growing mushrooms in there. And then thinks Kunai is trying to steal the mushrooms, but she's not. So then Nokotan lets Koshi, Kunai, and the other members of the Deer Club have the mushroom meal. And also Chiharu is there. And also there and maybe a member, and we don't know. And the episode ends in the student council room with Neko being like, where is everybody? Why is nobody here? It was a weird end of the episode on what continues to be a very weird show that I really like. Downplaying, we didn't have much of the younger sister weirdo, which is great because that is the weakest part of the show. So that was great not to have that. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, there's a big one. Sorry about that, everybody. But I did sneeze, so I got that going for me. Look, My Dear Friend Nokotan continues to be a great show and a good weird thing that I'm super into. It's not for everybody. It is for me. It is a thing that I really enjoy. And I'm happy that I get to, keep seeing episodes of and keep talking to y'all about it. It's very good. Now over on High Dive, which I'm watching a lot of shows this season on High Dive, which is great. I got caught up on I Parry Everything, episodes 3 and 4. Episode 4, according to came out the end of last week. I Parry Everything is a show that you could 100% fully and easily skip, and you would not feel like you missed out on anything, but it is a fun show. Is that right? Yeah. It is a fun show that I enjoy, and so I'll talk about it. So the premise is, our dude is the best newbie. He's not. He's an older guy. He's been trying really hard. All he can do is parry. That is the only move he could do. But he parries so hard. And he's so good at it. And he's just good at... he is just... wait. Oh, sorry. I missed a piece. I was like, this piece feels like it should go there. Because all these other pieces seem to be extra pieces. But this one, I was like, that feels important. Also, these two pieces didn't get used. And I feel like those are also important. So we're going to go see if these pieces should be somewhere that I missed out on. Because all these other pieces are definitely extras. And I think that's fine. But these don't look like extras. So hold on while I quickly look to see if I just completely missed them, or if they are extras, it's okay that I missed them. So let me just quickly go back. But yeah, the premise is this dude is just, he went out into the mountains to train, and all he can do is parry, but he is incredibly good at parrying. He defeats completely shuts down and completely neutralizes and defeats a monster just by parrying it and serving like its own, so it kills itself with its own claw. But because he's like, all I did was parry and it like broke my sword, he's like, I'm not gonna, he doesn't take any credit for it because he doesn't feel like it's his victory. So he just kind of bounces. And they want him to be a bodyguard for the queen. And he's like, that doesn't make any sense. I shouldn't do that. I'm just a guy that all I can do is parry. So that's kind of where we're at as we go into the episode 3, where you have another bodyguard who's a spearman named Gilbert. And he's just like, let's have a mock duel. And Nor, our main guy, is just like, oh, I mean, okay. So Nor is amazing at parrying. But again, the major thing, if you don't like this part of it, you're not going to like this show. You have to be okay with the fact that a major element is our guy is gifted, but does not think he is, and does not think that he deserves any of the like treatment that he gets when people are impressed. And he's going to downplay everything, and he's going to think that like, so he's dodging, he's parrying all of Gilbert's strikes, and he's like, Gilbert is just fucking like going really easy on me. Like, you know, he can't even consider the fact that maybe Nor is skilled in this regard. He's just like, no, he's just going easy on me, I guess. And then Gilbert's just like fucking completely thrown when Nor is like, hey, I give up. You're definitely winning this. Because Gilbert's just like, no, dude, there was nothing I could do to stop you. You were beating me. You were counting everything I threw at you. And he's fucking humiliated by this. He's like, you're going easy on me. Meanwhile, Nor is just like, that guy, yeah, you know, he was just, you know, he could have won at any time. He doesn't believe in himself. Also, Nor like dodged so fast. He's like, I have no idea what the fuck just happened here. I have no clue what's going on. Nor is just like, I can't believe you went easy on me. Now I'm going to go back to doing my tasks, because remember, he is such a low rank adventurer that because he doesn't have skills that he can't do a lot. So he does a lot of chores. He was granted a sword by the king because the king was like, you have to accept a reward from me. This is like a demon sword, which we're not going to find out in this anime. Probably. We'll probably find out. I don't think it's going to be covered in the anime. I'll just tell you, there is someone that recognizes that sword. Maybe we'll get to it, but whatever. There's someone that recognizes that sword later. And he's just like, that's like the strongest swordsman was using this cursed blade that chooses its host. And even that guy held it with 2 hands. And this fucking guy, Nor, is one-handing this cursed sword. So yeah, that's just to prove how powerful Nor is. Meanwhile, Nor is just like, actually, the thing about this sword is it's the perfect width to use as a shovel when I'm cleaning the sewer lines. So he's fucking psyched about it. Lin, who is the princess, seeks him out and is like, hey, be my page. Help me out. And so I can learn from you. And he's just like, I have nothing to teach you. I don't have skills. I keep telling people I'm not strong like they think I am. Like, look, all I can do is level 1 magic skills I barely know, and I've been adventuring training school for decades, and I can't do shit. I can just do these. And that's where Lin is just like, oh yeah, wait, you're that fucking guy. Apparently, you can't complete adventuring school with basic skills. You learn the basic skills, and you improve upon the basic skills, and then you do advanced skills and then you graduate. But he's completed all the training courses with level 1 skills because all his level 1 skills are off the charts strong. So he's just by like mere coincidence and like adhering to the rules that he is only a level 1 guy that can't do, because he's like obviously got the talent for it. It's just his talent is in unremarkable skills. Because he's refined his skills so much that he's surpassed people. He is so good, but he has, again, no confidence in himself. And he has no idea. Lin is like, okay, you can't reject me. I'm going to follow you around. I am going to learn from you. She wants to know the secret. Again, the secret is that he has the potential to be strong, and he also has the will to keep training when other people would give up. That's like really it. There might be another secret. I don't think there is. I think it's just that this dude works fucking hard. He works really hard at getting good at what he does. That seems to be the only thing. But that's the end of episode 3. And then episode 4 of I Parry Everything is the man Rain, who we met earlier, can't believe that the king gave the Black Blade. So the Black Blade is the sword that Nor has, which we now learn again. Later we learn that it's supposed to be held with 2 hands, and he holds it one-handed. But it was a sword taken from the deepest explored level of the dungeon. It is immune to magical damage and physical damage. So it is a sword that is literally perfect for him, because the one weakness you could say about a guy that parries is, how do you parry magic? You know, you can parry physical attacks. How do you fucking parry magic? Well, you do it with a sword that is immune to magic. Rain deduces that it must be that the king wants Nor to do something important. Nor gets a laboring job. But it turns out that the B rank adventurer Lin, instead, they are sent to go hunt goblins. And he's definitely not allowed to do that under his regular rank, but because he's with someone that's higher rank, he can do it. And he's like, I feel like I'm taking advantage of it. So he sees a goblin, and he's like, I'm going to fight that goblin. Now, we find out before he does that that's a goblin emperor. It is a high-ranked, very powerful goblin. But Nor has never fought a goblin before, and so he just assumes it's a regular goblin. And so he just fights it because he wants to prove how strong he is. Now, Lin is like, does not recognize that. She assumes that he's excited because she imagines, again, a lot of this show is leaps of logic that are questionable. He's just like, oh, that's a goblin. I got to show all these adventurers that like I can belong, that I can hang here. And she says, oh God, he recognizes that we're all going to die here, and he is trying to protect the other adventurers by keeping this or by keeping the Goblin Emperor busy so we can all get out of there. But he ends up managing to remove the Mana Stone from the Emperor's forehead, which allows Lin to kill it with fire. And then Nor is like, shit, I can't even fight a goblin, because he, again, does not recognize that was not a regular goblin. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. On my broken wing. Appreciate that. Welcome. We're talking about the anime I Parry Everything, which is a totally fine and totally acceptable anime that you could watch this season if you were interested. So our guy does not recognize, oh, I did a cool thing, and I shouldn't be able to beat this on my own. But he's like, I can't even beat a goblin. And then Rain, who finds out about this, thinks that this was another assassination attempt by a neighboring, because the other events of this show have been probably assassination attempts. This is all seemingly a plot, an evil plot by another kingdom, which is, of course, fucked up. Let's see. Noir goes back to the guild and he reports, "Hey, I killed a goblin." And then he finds out, well, he didn't bring any evidence because it was burned to a crisp, so he can't even get paid for killing a goblin because he doesn't have proof he killed a goblin. And of course, if he did have proof, then they would have been like, this is a fucking goblin emperor. Holy shit. And which he would then maybe know that he's strong. So it's part of the story that he does not know that, of course. And that's the end of episode 4. Do I think that you need to run, not walk to see this show? Like, not really. If you are looking for something that's kind of light, again, I talked about it in the beginning, an element of I Parry Everything that you, the viewer, have to be okay with is, are you okay with watching a show where the main character just cannot possibly believe in himself, and also everyone around him misunderstands things in such a way that they don't correct him or convince him that he is strong? Like, there are moments where they are like, no, this is impressive and you should be proud of yourself. But for the most part, they misunderstand his misunderstanding. And like, you kind of have to be okay with that. And I think reading it as a manga, on a monthly basis is totally acceptable. This show is not a show that I watch weekly. I watched the first 2 episodes weekly, and then I waited until episode 4 came out, and then I watched episode 3 and 4 together. I would not watch this show on a weekly basis. I definitely wouldn't recommend watching this show as a like marathoning the show. I definitely wouldn't recommend that. A sad fat man asked the question, isn't that like half of anime? So yeah, I mean, this subgenre of anime, right? This subgenre of overpowered main character who doesn't know how strong they are. That is a sub brand of it. There's like, there was a show a couple of years ago about a guy who, he's a kid and he's the weakest person in his village, but he wants to go on adventures. So he manages to go and he goes to the starting town. Basically the layout of this anime is that you start at a starter and then you progress like an RPG to where the Demon Lord is, right? Well, it turns out this kid, who is the weakest person in his village, is still stronger than anyone else outside the village, because the village is the last spot right before the Demon King's area. So it's basically like a kid that does not understand how strong he is, and constantly, because he just wants to be a knight, but he's obviously strong enough to do that. So the whole fucking thing of the show is him being too naive to recognize that he's strong, because there are people who are stronger than him, but he doesn't realize that those people are unbelievable and he's also unbelievable. Like, he just doesn't scale. And like, if that is a thing where you're like, I can't deal with how dumb this guy is, then that's not an anime for you. In the same way, in this show, I Parry Everything. If you're like, I just wish he had confidence in himself, like, he's not gonna, The other show there, I should look up the name of it. There's another show I forget what the translation they did for it, but it's basically the middle-aged guy, and by that I mean in 30s, the Osan newbie adventurer trained to death by the most powerful party became invincible. Rick Gladiator, the main character of that show, is self-aware that he has gotten stronger. So that might be better for some people that can't deal with that shit, because at the very least, he knows, oh, I am now stronger than I used to be, because he is aware that the people that trained him are monsters. He has self-confidence eventually. He should have had self-confidence when he was younger. That is his regret, that he waited so long in his life to finally stop being... He basically became a guild employee because he couldn't become an adventurer, and then he is given the confidence to become an adventurer anyway, even though it's quote-unquote late in life. So that show is a bit of a different vibe because of that. But yeah, the idea of a guy who just does not recognize that, oh shit, I'm pretty fucking strong, can be like a deal breaker for some people. I think I Shall Parry Everything is fun enough, or I Parry Everything, I Parry Everything is fun enough that you can still enjoy it. Again, is it something you have to rush out and watch? No, I don't think it's something that you gotta check this out. But it is a fun anime. And if you are looking for a sillier show, because this season has like a lot of romance shows and has like some action, but some of the action is like kind of dire, and a lot of the isekai this season is kind of slower, and still good. Raylia in Bloom is still gorgeous. We will talk about that. I will give a recap of that show, because I haven't talked about that show at all, and I've been really enjoying it. It's been a very pleasant watch, because it is kind of a slow paced, like, none of these characters, our girl is not overpowered, and it is basically a romance show, like a slow slice of life romance show that happens to include a character who's reincarnated in a magical world. That's just the window setting for a kind of slow burn, finding out what makes you happy, dealing with loss, dealing with heartbreak, and then like trying to move on show that is wrapped around the wrapper of, oh yeah, you died and you reincarnated and you make magical tools. A Sad Fat Man also says, does this character happen to be a vending machine? No. This is not the vending machine anime. Reincarnated is a vending machine, which is also very fun. Boxo rules. Feels like there's a ton of anime now based on that kind of MMO world where the characters go on adventuring to gain experience and have classes and stuff. Yeah, there are a lot of that. Your adventure series that feel like MMOs or very gamified things that are not isekais are still popular. That is having like levels and dungeoning and all that. The anime Dungeon People, which is the practical side of a dungeon and how a dungeon works. That is taking not really a comedy, but is a workplace anime about the ins and outs of running a dungeon and how that is like a job for monsters and such. Like, that takes like the practical side of that thing, which I think is very fun. It becomes in my opinion, like a really interesting show. But it does take the whole idea of like some of the MMO RPG elements or just RPG elements and flushing them out. But yeah, all those things are still popular. Ooh, I did miss this piece. Oh, it was supposed to be there. I was supposed to do it then. The beauty of Lego, that you can just kind of pick up where you messed up, and it's all right. I haven't had to undo anything yet, which is great. Now is the part of the stream where I want to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? Do you go into the movies to see anything? You watching anything on TV? If you've been following the Olympics, what was your sport, or what's the sport you're currently really excited about, or just an event you happened to turn on because you were turning on USA yesterday trying to watch wrestling, or tonight you were trying to watch wrestling, but turns out it's on Sci-Fi because USA has Olympic coverage. But yeah, let me know. Are you reading anything? What's got you going? Playing any video games, anything like that? I have a couple decks in Hearthstone that I like. They're fun to play. I am looking for more. I am keeping my eye out on some of the more interesting decks. As always, I like a good goofy deck, not necessarily a deck that is breaking the meta and is the top ranked thing for getting to legend or whatever. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in like, oh, this deck has like a fun bit that you do, and like if you can pull it off, you'll you'll have an advantage. Oh, we got our first decal to put on here. Put on our first decal, which is decal number 1. So we'll get that on there. Like using the spudger for this. I could use the X-Acto blade. I could use anything else, but I do like using the spudger. We'll just get that up and then. Come on. There we go. Myself, I have been playing Hearthstone, as I said. I got some decks that I'm liking in there. Did get a little Helldivers in. Been watching my friend who is in the Marvel Rivals beta. I watched more of that. That was really fun. Watched a retirement, a graduation for Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Now that was lovely. The undercard was like fine. There was like one match that was really fun, and the other ones were just like so-so. But the main event really was touching. It was lovely. We had some returns to get involved. 2 wrestlers who are currently injured were piggybacked in the ring so they could contribute to the nonsense, which was very fun and silly. It was a nice little tribute to Now, who is a beloved wrestler. She went from being people's big sister to the role of auntie now in Tokyo, and has retirement. She's retiring not just from professional wrestling. She's also retiring from acting as well. She did stage plays in her spare time, but she's retiring from basically from public life. And I wish her well, because she seems like a dear that people loved quite a bit. And she was suffering from an injury. Her back she was not at 100% going into this retirement, which is sad, but she still managed to pull off a lovely finals. Wait, did I do? Yeah, that goes there. Okay, that piece goes there. Oh, that goes on the other side. I was like, what am I doing wrong? But yeah, I would say that was a nice a little tribute there. And mostly I got caught up on that time I got reincarnated as a slime. I've been behind on the manga. I'm ahead. I'm fine on the anime, but I was behind on the manga. So I got caught up on the manga, and there was a revelation that I was like, oh shit. That character is an otherworlder, like Rimuru, not a summoned. There is a character, and I won't say who for spoilers purposes, but there is a character who will become more important later, I feel, who is a reincarnation, because so far, Rimuru, the slime, has been the only character who reincarnated. Everyone else from Earth has been an otherworlder and has been a summon. But not this girl. She's also, I won't say anything more. She's also a reincarnation. And I was like, shocking. That was a shocking thing to find out. Let's see. Lord Crashes says, started watching Lost now that it's on Netflix. Sorry. Sad Fat Man said, playing through Final Fantasy 3 again. Hell yeah. Hope you're having a great time with Final Fantasy 3. Okay, these pieces go like that. Lord Crashton started watching Lost again. Now it's on Netflix, which I haven't rewatched since the original run. Wild Times. Figuring out the annoying sister is the daughter in Taken. Yes, that is a thing that I also forgot about and now have remembered. Thank you for reminding me about that. But that is a thing. Aristfan says, I put a bit of time into a Ranger, a puzzle game with a story. It currently feels like I'm fusing with the puzzles until I solve them. Or you're fussing, not fusing. You're fussing with the problems. Yes, I have heard very good things about a Ranger, and also people who are like, I do not enjoy this at all. I am not having fun with a Ranger. When I go there, I've been watching the latest season of Doctor Who. The most recent episode I watched was very gay. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm years behind on Doctor Who, but I have heard some good things about this season, so hell yeah. Dirty says, went and watched Deadpool tonight as soon as I got off work. Bought my ticket this morning and was the only one on my row. When I got there, I was squashed between 2 couples. Next time I go to an evening showtime instead of morning matinee, I'm going to buy 3 seats so I don't have to sit next to any randos. Yeah, I mean, that is one of the downsides of seeing things in theater is you're not in control of that kind of thing. Unless, yeah, if you're going to morning matinees where you don't expect to have other people. But I have heard that all showings of Deadpool are doing pretty good and are pretty busy. Of course, that depends on where you're going and all that. Sure. Lasper says, I picked up a couple things back up. I'm to the point in Fallout 2. Oh, yeah, you picked the Fallout 2 up. Great. Thanks to infinite carry weight, that money has become meaningless because you have like 40 to 50 guns for trade whenever I want. I'm also in early Boo Saga on the DBZ manga, and I love the tournament announcer dude and how excited he is to see real martial arts again. Yes. When Goku stopped going, all of the people that wanted to beat Goku also stopped going, because where was the challenge? And Mr. Satan became champion, and he's, of course, a professional wrestler and not a real tough man. So yes, the announcer, when he recognizes that like real cool martial artists are showing up again, he's fucking so psyched about that shit. He's so happy that he will have real pros. It's just been the Mr. Satan show. Yes. Also, you might imagine that there could be a chance of people who were strong not showing up because they thought they weren't as strong as Mr. Satan. So they were like, well, there's no point in me going because he's going to be so strong. Because they didn't believe in themselves. And he's a good fucking showman. But yeah, that is fun. I hope you're having a good time with the DBZ manga. Like I said, I got caught up on that, and I've been reading some new stuff. I try to keep up with some new things and things. I got caught up on a manga that the dark arc is over. This fucking easy ass thing about a dude that like has his memories come back and realizes he's a reincarnated person. And he's been isekai'd, and he's like, oh shit. I don't want to be the end boss. I'm going to quit being a baddie and just be an adventurer. But he's very overpowered, of course, while he's doing all these shenanigans. At some point, they were like, and turns out, when he was a kid, things went wrong. And when he wasn't strong, he was taken advantage of, and it sucked. And it's just like, oh, it was so many chapters of this dark origin that I was like, oh, fuck. They finally finished, I think, all of the dark origin bullshit. And I'm like, hell yeah. Thank God. We're back. We're back, baby. So we'll see. But I think it might be more chill now that happened. I think now that we're done with the crazy backstory, that would be great. Yes, the Videl beatdown is one of the most brutal things in Dragon Ball Z. It is uncomfortably fucked. It is wildly fucked. Yeah. It is one of the most brutal things. You're not wrong. And on that note, on note of one of the most brutal things in Dragon Ball, we're going to wrap up the stream. Yeah, we're going to close things out tonight. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream around here. I hope you will come along on the raid with me as we go hang out. We're going to see if Mary Kish is streaming because it's Monday, and we try to raid Mary on Mondays. So we'll see. Is Mary streaming? Yes, Mary's playing a ranger. We just talked about that, so we're going to go hang out with Mary as she plays a ranger. And you can see the game that, as I said, I have heard very good things for some people, and other people were very much not cool, did not enjoy this one. So we're going to go hang out with Mary. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Please come back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, for WWE 2K24. We're going to check out Post Malone and the Headbangers and all the other DLC characters that I paid for months ago. And put them in against some creator wrestlers and some real wrestlers that are already in the game. And a bunch of titles will be on the line. We got some nightmare characters. It's going to be a good time. Come back tomorrow for that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Let's go on this raid. Talk to you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.